Hello everyone, so this is to do with the new Garda Commissioner that they're going to try and get, let's put it that way. They can't get one. So my suggestion before I get started, this is not related, but just on the side note, I want this man to be the Garda Commissioner. I want this man to be the Garda Commissioner. So I posted my community post, this is not related to what I'm talking about, but just because I think this man is the best person for the job as Garda Commissioner. We should get him, to be totally honest. Because straight away, a few tourists were pickpocketed in Helsinki, and they got them. Within a few hours, they've got them all pretty much, and are sending them home. And I agree overwhelmingly, and especially this inspector straight away because they're in danger to the public order and security. This is the man we need. That's the man we need. That's straight away just like, no, I'm not dealing with your shit. Goodbye. And that's the man we need. Drew House is no addition. We get on the top of Drew House in a second. But this is the man we need. Get this man into the Garda Commission as well. Get that man. Pay him whatever. I don't mind. He seems like a man that could do a job. Because generally they don't take. He doesn't seem like he takes much shit from any criminal, and that's who we need in the Garda Síochána. So we need that fella. The Garda Commissioner, or well, not the Garda Commissioner, the Minister for Justice. Please employ this fella as the Garda Commissioner. It would be great. So going on to the Garda Commissioner. Now, arguably, nobody can really debate this. Even the Gardaí themselves, the inspectors and superintendents, overwhelmingly voted 99% for him to get the boot back a year ago. Well, he's still there, would you believe? So, some democracy too, just to say too. But long story short, they cannot get anybody to replace the Garda Commissioner. Now, straight away, this raises questions. We'll get to the other parts of it now in a second. But this raises questions, why does nobody want to be the Garda Commissioner? And the straight up answer is that the Gardaí have lost trust with the Irish people. They've lost all connection to the Irish state. Pretty much what I mean by the whole basis of Garda Síochána is policing by consent. We've seen in recent times the Gardaí policing by force, not by the public consent. We've seen in places they've been bussing people in the middle of the night and pushing people out of the way and beating up Irish grannies, etc., etc., just because they have a different opinion than the Irish government. And the Gardaí facilitated all this. The Gardaí have done it. Drew House has said nothing about it. And the amount of Gardaí that are up for corruption, the amount of Gardaí that are up for misuse of power, abuse of public office, etc., etc., is doubled. Pretty much it's the highest ever probably in the history of the state. It's insane. So the whole on Garda Síochána, as Maurice McCabe and John Wilson had said, is the biggest criminal gang in the state. So no wonder nobody really wants it, because it's toxic, and the whole career in the Garda Síochána is pretty much toxic. That's why nobody wants to join it, because they're totally against the basis of what they were founded on, by policing by consent of the Irish people. And they've gone against the Irish people in a lot of cases on Garda Síochána. They've not been with the Irish people, they've been siding with the government. And again, it's policing by consent. It's not by the government's consent, it's by the people's consent. And the Garda Síochána have not done that, unfortunately, over the last few years. And again, I have a lot of respect for members from Garda Síochána. They put themselves in huge risk. But at the same time, it's the people at the top, Drew House, other people like Drew House, the top brass from Garda Síochána, who are letting them down, along with the state, of course. So they cannot get any guard in Ireland to apply for the Garda Commissioner. So most likely we have to go to a foreign police force. And I suggest this man in Helsinki. If we're ever going to get anybody, get him. That's the man we need. Straight away, not taking any shit from anybody. And that's the man we want. That's the man, because no point going to Canada and looking for somebody that's with Justin Trudeau and stuff like that. They're no addition. But yeah, they have to go. Basically, Drew House himself too was in the PSNI. He was in MI6, MI5. He put him, and again, this is the next thing. It's questionable how Drew House got the job in the first place, because he has connections to MI5, MI6, British intelligence. Now, obviously, the British probably never left. They're still here. The intelligence office. They could be here now as I'm speaking. But what I'm trying to say, he should never have probably got the job in the first place, because he wasn't even a member, and it should be the same. We should be getting a own to be the commissioner, etc., etc. But as I say, this man in Helsinki is the man for the job. But Drew House should definitely not have forgotten, because he was in with the intelligence service the British intelligence service, along with the PSNI, etc., etc. So that's a huge, just reading this from I think it's the Irish Examiner. Growing security concerns. There was growing security concerns when they mentioned this fellow would be the Garda Commissioner. I see no really upset about that. You think the Irish media would have lost their minds when they heard about this man becoming Garda Commissioner. Security concerns my arse, because there was never anything said about it before. But this is obviously security concerns, because they need a Garda Commissioner regardless. They need somebody at the top of the Gardaí Preferably something that's any addition, pretty much, may I add. So, yeah, the GOA, pretty much the Garda Superintendent's conferences today, like the last few days. And definitely Drew Harris will go down in the history of the state as the worst Garda Commissioner. Probably in history. I couldn't think of really any worse Garda Commissioner. Because it's total and utter failure of an Garda Síochána. Crime, people are afraid to walk the streets. Things have got a lot worse over his leadership of an Garda Síochána. People have lost such trust in the Garda Síochána. We've seen recently enough too. People have been busted in the middle of the night. Communities have lost faith in the Garda Síochána. The Garda are taking hours to turn up. The Garda are not catching anybody. People are getting off with murder. The list goes on pretty much. What I'm trying to say is, and then even just in general, people just don't feel safe, regardless of where they are. Everything has failed, pretty much, in the Garda Síochána. And it's Drew Harris' fault. He's the man at the top, he's the fellow to blame. And especially morale in the Garda Síochána has pretty much hit rock bottom. There's nothing really left of morale terms in the Garda Síochána. But it's Drew Harris. It's Drew Harris. He should have been got rid of anyway, because imagine voting. The superintendents and sergeants of an Garda Síochána had a vote, and voted 99.9% of getting rid of Drew Harris. Like, think about that. Not even 1% in favour of keeping Drew Harris. And he still kept his job. And Helen Mackley has a bit of the blame here, because he should have been gone long ago. But the only reason why they didn't get rid of him long ago, because, let's be fair, they had nobody to replace him. And they still have nobody to replace him. But he's gone in about 3 months' time. Probably have to stay on, because I don't think there'll be anybody to replace him unless they go very far to look for it. But again, I'm suggesting this man. I'm suggesting this fellow. That's who I'm suggesting. If the Minister for Justice or anything is watching, this is the man we need. Get in touch with this fellow, this inspector. I want him to be the Garda Commissioner. I think everybody in the country would really agree with this fellow. Because straight away, there was a crime, people caused trouble, get out. And that's the best thing. And again, even just for our own citizens too, no messing around, straight to jail with you, straight to prison for a while. Think about what you've done, especially because you know yourself in Dublin now, tourists are being robbed left, right and centre, not even just in the pubs and the shops, but on the streets and stuff like that. And we need to put a stop to it. And again, this man is the man that's the best person for the job, because I can tell you straight away, I never heard of a member from Garda Síochána in my life saying this person's been the person because they're a danger to public safety and security of the state, and we're not tolerating it. That's pretty much what he said. The Garda, I never heard the Garda ever utter a word like that. They're too afraid to say boo about it. But that's the man we need. Straight away, pay him a 200,000 euro, pay him 300,000 euro. That's the man I want. And if I was the Taoiseach now, that'd be the man I'd be getting, because that's the fellow we need. And anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.